Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is the final episode of the rundown. Um, we had a fantastic finals yesterday.
Brilliant.
Um,
Brilliant.
it was a finals that was pretty much a field goal difference between the two. But it was absolutely spectacular. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I hope everyone understands that it was nice to meet you as well, Joel Collins. It was absolutely insane. Hiya, Gary. How are you doing? Um, it was great to meet everybody. A lot of people did come down in the end. Wasn't too sure if there was going to be a big crowd, but there was a decent amount. I'd say about 400, maybe give or take, potentially around a couple hundreds. But I will say it was definitely something that a lot of people were interested in, and the game did not disappoint.
Sounds like it was a good one.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to watch it all. I watched bits and bobs. Our group chat was we have a group chat, obviously, to this, for the things that we do and stuff, and
Yeah.
that was going off quite a fair bit. But no, it sounds like it was a good attendance. There was a bit of an incident which I'm sure we'll divulge into in a bit. But I picked the winner, and
Yes, you did. And the winner was from the South.
I was waiting for that. I was speaking to someone in work today. They watched the show, and they were like, "How long till he mentions the South?" I was like, "Give it a
I
minute."
mean, I mean, the South will always be dominant. The South will, just looking at the finals. Okay, we're just looking at the finals. London
Yeah.
Blitz versus East Kilbride, I believe it was.
Yeah.
London Blitz under 19s won by 58 to like 14.
Who,
Then
who
we
was
had
who was in the women's final? It was Solon and
about to get there.
oh
Birmingham Lions.
yes,
Birmingham Lions versus Solent Thrashers.
okay.
Birmingham Lions had the lead 20-6 at half
Yeah,
time.
that's comeback of the weekend, maybe.
Yep,
No, yeah.
yep. Solent came back and won their first ever national championship, which was amazing to them. And the way that they went and won it, absolutely amazing. They came back and absolutely put boots to asses against Birmingham Lions to show that the South is a very dominant faction, regardless
South,
of what teams
South,
are down
South,
there.
South, South, this, South, that.
But it's the truth. It's not. I'm not saying anything that's a lie, am I?
Listen, we've done
No.
Brit. Look, I'm just happy Brit Balling's balling. That's all.
Yes.
What are you
And then
drinking?
yes,
What are you drinking, by the way?
H2O. I'm not drinking anything
I,
actually.
I've
I just
got
drinking the glass.
I've got cranberry with excessive amount of vodka. End of
Yeah.
season.
Oh, good. And then yesterday we had the matchup between London Blitz and Bristol Aztecs, which ended up being the winner. Bristol Aztecs beating London Warriors 24-7 to 24.
When do they have that European game then?
What European game?
Don't they go to playing in
That will be next year. That'll be
okay.
next season. It's basically the same thing that they had this year.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. We don't know. No one. I don't think anyone knows other than people within the organization if
Mhm.
they're going to play it.
Okay.
Whatever happens is under wraps, so it'll be interesting. Mateo, get yourself a transfer with work and come
Retired,
play for
mate.
the South.
Retired. Do you know what? I was at Hickory's in Hutton yesterday. I've managed to bag. I can't actually talk about that. A sponsor, but yeah, we'll go about that later.
All
Anyway,
right.
and someone was speaking to me about what your plans next season. Obviously, I'm doing this. I've got the Thursday show, which I
Yeah.
need your help with later. I'll talk to you about that after the show.
Okay.
But one thing I really want to do I'm going to speak to Steve about it. Is try and get some games in the North live streamed. Um,
Hmm.
you know, I'm sure there's a few people I'm going to approach, some decent people, and then I was like, one of the guys was like, "Well, why don't you like live stream like one of our games and commentating it and stuff?" And I was just like, "That's a challenge. I'm up for that." So yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see.
Fair. Um, but I will have to say that so the finals yesterday, I think it was one of those games where everything that could happen happened.
Define what do you mean? So
So,
what was the big things that happened that you're like, oh
well, obviously the two fumbles that
yeah,
the well, three, four fumbles that actually happened in the game. Obviously they more likely went to Aztecs' way. Um, and it was just one of those ones where it was sort of a jaw-dropping moment because there were things that you just hadn't seen all year from both sides.
but
Um,
is that not to be expected, but accepted because it's such a high stake game? Because you know these there's been three Warriors walkout at the start was called. Don't know. You can explain that to me if you want, mate.
so Warriors walked out to many men, and as cold fashion, Warriors are the team that aren't going to be overly hyped. They're going to be keep themselves under calm and collected. They walked out to many men, and then we went into national champion. Then we went into the national anthem. Yeah, then we went into national anthem, and then obviously the game got kicked off. So both teams came out in two different types of styles.
Okay.
Bristol Aztecs came out running, and Warriors came out walking. So you could see the two contrasts on the two teams on how both of them felt towards everything. How one team was overhyped and one team was cool, calm, and collected. So you could see the difference between them both. So there was a bit of interesting aspects to that as well as a storyteller, you know?
Yeah, man. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So yeah. So like, so how much of the game did you actually watch?
Honestly, mate, snippets. I've caught I need to rewatch it all. I've in work. I'm shouldn't be saying this.
Yeah.
Can be on the phone. Shouldn't be on the phone. So I didn't get to watch the full thing, mate. Literally little bits and bobs.
Okay.
What I was a bit wow is how quick they get the ball out. Both teams. It's. I've said before. I'm not a great old lineman. I just do what I got to do.
Yeah.
I've only played Div 1. I've not played Prem, but you can see the massive difference in terms of execute. So it's stuff like that. That the Maya. I got the feeling both teams didn't like each other. It was very, very like some of the hits were, you
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
The Aztecs are the closest thing to a challenge. Are the closest thing to the biggest rivalry between London Warriors
yeah.
and in the Premiership.
How far,
Um,
how far do you think Blitz are behind both teams?
well, Blitz beat Aztecs this year,
Okay, so
so I guess the thing is, the South I feel will probably be a bit more competitive next year.
mhm,
Um, Looking at how the teams are all going, well, with the Blitz obviously being a very young team, Aztecs having the region that they have the whole of Bristol to work with. They don't have any other teams to battle with to have players
yeah,
come sign up and register. They also have the players from UE, so they've got the potential Americans that will stay over that studied at UE University. They'll also have some kids from Filton Pride. So there's a lot of that, and then Warriors will always will be Warriors. They'll always have their star players. They'll always have the strength on the players that will be there, and that people always want to go play for the Warriors as well. So there's always these little things that you'll see. And then we obviously have the new team with Wembley Stadium's coming up
mm.
with Cheetahs dropping out down to Division One. So there's a lot of aspects. So I think next year might be a bit more interesting. But again, we've got 6 months to go before that even is thought about.
Do you?
And recruitment,
Because obviously I only started doing this halfway through the season.
yeah.
Do you get like people like messaging you like? we're looking great, like we're looking boss, and then other people being like, we're screwed, like we're not looking great. Training attendance. But do you ever get any messages like that? Because like I mean, I'll
Mm,
be honest, like the only type of messages I really got was like, I'd speak to mates at old teams and I like, how's it looking? You're looking good for the season. Oh mate, we're gonna go 8-0, and then they finish six. They play eight. They win two and
yeah.
lose six. So yeah.
Um, I would say that okay. Uh, don't know who fake Dan Meyer is. If Tia retiring, could Blitz overtake the Warriors? We'll discuss that in a second. We will. No, to be honest, actually, it's a great answer. No, I don't think about summer ball until February, March
Hmm.
when the schedule comes out. And then I sort of I keep my eye to everyone's Instagrams, everyone's pages, just to get an idea of what
Yeah.
certain players are doing. But I'm not. I'm at the moment. I don't have the time to just be all in trying to get information from everybody. I probably will do that this year potentially, maybe
Mhm.
seeing as if we can. But then obviously there are things that need to be sorted out first before any of that will go through. So you need to decide. It comes down to that situation of how much information will teams give, how much what information are you going to get, what useful information is there, and again, I've noticed preseason in this league means nothing because again,
Yeah.
the players will be playing most players will be playing uni ball still. So there's going to be a lot of different things that are going to be
I,
pushed through.
I agree with what Coach Russ has said there. Most teams are already working for next season, and now it
There we
never
go.
stops. Anyone not working for next season is in big trouble. So I agree on that. It doesn't stop in the background of the football work. I mean, for me, pre-season, I was watching teams in my league social media, and you can kind of gauge who's doing well. Not and you're not always writing it. Like it's a bit of a mad one, but I mean, you're clearly excited for the Prem South. I'm excited for the Prem North. Obviously, it goes back to having that extra team in it, which I think
Yes.
really helps. It's going to be very interesting to see how them teams recruit coming up. So obviously, Alphas are near to a few teams who could have went up. Do they
Uh,
recruit off them? Do they want to go to the Prem? Nighthawks very close to Manchester. Can they get some of them players who maybe a bit disgruntled, not happy with how things are?
yeah.
Um, and all credit to Nighthawks. They looked great in the playoffs. It was like a complete different team from what we seen
That's
in,
true.
in, in Div One. But again, I did say they'd recruited well all throughout the season. How long does it take them to gel? But no, that Prem North's looking really interesting. I imagine Coventry. They've got a new coach in Coventry. He put a post up saying, it's been a difficult, well, not difficult. It's been an interesting year or two. I imagine Coventry would improve. Um, I had someone reach out from another. Oh, I can't name that club. Can't do that. Never mind. But no, I'm looking. I mean, I think the North will be interesting next year. I think, yeah.
Yeah. Um, just going back to this information by Fake Dan Meyer. Know what I don't know where's this information come from. Could you elaborate? Because there's no wording on anything that's going on. But Blitz are a young team. I don't think any team are going to take over. I don't think any London team will take over from the Warriors anytime soon. Um,
Warriors didn't win.
Blitz, I no, but yes, but London. I
Oh,
think at the end of the day, not every team has a quarterback. I think Blitz need a stable and solid quarterback. And then, maybe anything could happen. But again, it comes down to those questions of can you get those key players in? Can the system work? Can the coaches get all the players in right? Can everything be done correctly? Can you get a good coaching staff? Because again, coaching in this country is good, but there's not a lot of quality out there as well.
I
So
think
there's
you'd
a
be.
lot of things that
I
a
think
lot of teams need.
I think you're being very nice with that. I think some of the coaches' standards over is horrendous.
Yeah, like that's the thing. There's not many teams that you can actually look at and say that's a good coaching staff.
I
There's
think,
probably what like five, six, give or
yeah,
take.
Obviously it's a hard one because I think the majority of coaches over there go off like YouTube stuff. When I was
Um,
at, but look, I'm going off
yeah,
what I've experienced. I mean, I had a really good online coach at Chester, called Toby. It was a bit of a mad one because the year before I joined, everyone was moaning about getting an online coach. A really experienced online coach comes in who was great, and everyone's like, "Oh, I don't need coaching." But no, I think this the standard of coaching isn't great. Don't get me wrong, I've had some brilliant coaches, but I've had some
yes.
bloody awful ones as well.
And this is probably one of the problems that does happen is most people will go to unis, maybe coach there, and then they think that they know everything. But the issue is, I feel that with this league, a lot of players, I'm going to say this straight, and if you're going to clip it, you're going to clip it. Either way, it is what it is. A lot of players think they're better than they actually are,
Oh,
and
100%.
a lot of
100%.
players believe that they can't be taught anything new.
Yeah.
No, you could have been playing for 10 years, and you could still learn something new from someone that's played longer, or someone that probably hasn't even played that realizes something that you do that's wrong, and that always fix it. But there's a lot of things that a lot of people, a lot of egos as well, that
Oh,
are there, that needs to be squashed because the game is, again, I guarantee I could probably predict the 4 teams that will be in the playoffs next year.
oh, go on
Now,
then. Go on.
Coventry, Manchester, Warriors, Aztecs.
Right.
It's the same four. It will be it's probably going to be the exact same four. There's like this is how predictable it's sort of becoming, and it has been for the last 7, 10 years. Other than the only wild card that would be potentially Blitz, depending on how they're gonna go. But I don't know anyone from the north that will really challenge Coventry or Manchester.
Again, look, it this is why alphas and nighthawks are going to need a decent recruitment. Um, I'm looking for, I'm looking forward to that. But look, it's all good making this an early prediction now. Um, it's going to be an interesting off season for all
Yes,
teams involved. Yeah, I can believe coaching recruitment is getting harder than player recruitment these days. Um,
there's
you
no
know,
benefits.
do you know it's not even that though. Like it's a hard sport to walk away from, and then when you do walk away from it and decide to go into coaching, you just get an itch to go on and hit someone all the time. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
it,
it, it
it's and it's free time.
yeah,
That's the thing about it. None of us get paid for this. It's free time.
yeah. Um, and it is one of those interesting ones on how everything's gonna go for next season. But
Yeah,
we had the changing of the guard this year, and the changing of the guard has is potentially been good for the sport. Um, Aztecs has sort of shown a different way to go about things. Yes, the question will be there. They deserved it. They played their heart out. It was a very tough game. But I do. There was one thing that I do have to give a shout out to is the 21-year-old offensive coordinator for the Aztecs, who called he he called a very brilliant game yesterday. Um, it seemed like everything was going the right way that he wanted it to go, and it worked out for him. And I do have to give that shout out. He is 21, and it looks like he's got a very, very bright future ahead going forwards. And this is where the culture things come from. You need that sort of inspiration and spark from young, because not everyone can play football.
yeah.
Let's be honest. Not everyone can play football, but you can have an impact in the sport in different ways. You can become a coach. You can, do special teams, start off in special teams and things like that. So there's a lot of different avenues that you can go down. But yeah, I will say yesterday's game definitely showed that everything is possible and anything is possible in this game sometimes.
I,
That's
th-
the
I
truth.
I think that's brilliant. 21 years old. What a career that dude's got ahead of him. That's absolutely. Has he got a name? Have we got a name for him?
1 second.
Oh,
I probably do.
that's brilliant, man.
You know when you get so many names, you never learn everybody's name. Oh my, I actually can't find it.
Well, regardless, well, fella, that's a brilliant accolade. That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So like. we've got a lot to sort of go through, get things ready for the next season as well.
Yeah.
But there was one thing that we were going to go through. Um,
I hate people. I don't know what
you
you're gonna say.
you hate people. What am I
I
going to
do.
say?
Oh, you can say it. Like we're both going to agree it was
Okay,
disgusting. Yeah.
so after a great game yesterday, obviously there was a social post that was sent around talking about the person believed that the Warrior players were immigrants and everything like that. Obviously, we do not condone anything like that. That is just not the way that don't know why people get that in their mind. But I do like the post that the Warriors put out recently that
Oh,
they are a
brilliant.
charity working hard to make sure there's the things that the Warriors have done for the community in the South London borough and what they're doing for the young kids as well. What the sport has done for young kids as well is absolutely outstanding. And that one post and comments from that person don't know they don't know anything. So it comes down to that situation of a lot of people, the whole community backed that whole statement, and that whole community definitely got at her and made sure that they understood that this isn't how it goes. They're not. This is not what it is, and 100% agree. That
I,
is what it is. It is a great showing that the community backed. The community
I
got behind it.
I never up until this year, mate. I've literally people just don't surprise me anymore. It was a vile, horrible. Let's not beat around the bush. Racist post. Yeah, idiots
Yeah,
doing idiot
idiots being
things.
idiots. Yeah,
And the I think the problem look, I don't want to diverge too much into politics. The problem we've got is 20 years ago people were closet racists. Now they're open racists and they're proud about it and flag bearing and all that jazz. I just think it's a very sad time. But I thought the post was from the Warriors was a touch of class. And you know what? I'm trying not to swear, but I'm gonna swear. She's
no,
just a fucking idiot. She's just an absolute idiot. And what goes around comes around. Warriors dealt with it and did it in a way that was better than most teams. So much credit to them.
yes,
I
that's
agree.
agree.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? It would be cool to try and educate the girl on the rights and wrongs, but you just can't. You just can't educate stupid people. I've seen recently. But no. Let's move on. Let's not give it any
Yeah,
more time. Well done,
yeah,
Warriors, for handling it with class. Well done, Britball Public for backing it as well.
yeah.
Um,
That is
yeah,
probably the big thing that
yeah,
everyone did get behind it and everybody just
yeah,
educated it. Obviously, she made a Facebook and Instagram private now, so
yeah. Of course,
that
she has.
is
You're a
obviously fine.
rat.
Um,
You're a
but
rat.
but now that the craziness has happened, and also once again, congratulations to Bristol Athletics on winning. I believe it's their first national championship. I might be wrong. If someone could correct me on that, but I do believe it might be their first. We put all blood, sweat, and tears. Yep,
Football
exactly.
family. I love
Support
that
his
post. I
family.
don't know who Lucifer is, but Lucifer, I like you. Um,
Um,
I want to say
yeah,
one more thing on that.
yeah,
Congrats to every team. To the ones that have win, to the ones that have lost, literally everyone. It's we're all making these brilliant memories. We're all volunteering, putting blood, sweat, and tears, as Lucifer says in. So congrats to everyone. Congrats to teams being promoted. Unlucky to teams being relegated. Dust yourselves off. Get yourself ready for next season. I can't wait for next season already. I'm excited.
yes. Now, what I put a task for both of us to do, right?
Oh,
And I have an I already know how my one
okay,
goes. I've been speaking at it for a very, very long time.
okay.
So if money wasn't an issue,
Hmm.
how would you set up this league itself, right? Um, so I'll go first just to
Okay.
make it easier, just so you know. So what I would do is I would get rid of Division Two. My exact understanding is I will get rid of Division Two because again the game's overpopulated. We don't
Mm,
have enough coaches. We don't have enough refs. There is at this time this moment in time. I don't know if there's enough refs for next year. I don't know if there. So there's a lot of things, and this will sort of counteract it. And then obviously we've got the women's game as well. That is absolutely fantastic. That was a and that the national finals for the women's game was a great showing of how this game for the women have developed and how it's gone.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, we need to be able to have the other staff there to be able to make everything work. So if we get rid of the extra games that aren't really needed as much, but you put all the Division Two teams into Division One, and you play it sort of like the SEC type of version. And this is just for Division One. In Division One, you play it as SEC, so you have South and then you have the North, and they play each other once. Now you can split the South and the North into two divisions. So you have the South on the West and then the South on the East. They play each other once, and then maybe they play one team on the other side, go forward. And then the playoffs will be sort of the top four teams or the top six teams that will make it, and then they play each other for the Division One championship. And then obviously in the Prem, maybe we could extend the Prem to like 7 to 8 teams, um, which would then, and then when it comes to the scheduling is pretty easy. You do Division one game 1 week, Prem the next week. So you then just mix it up. Would you have more local leagues like during COVID? That was a good league. Um, I think a lot of players did enjoy that because there wasn't a lot of traveling.
Hmm.
Um, and it did make things and did seem the better way to go about it. But I know that some teams did complain that they were a Div 1, Div 2 team playing against a Premiership team and absolutely getting hammered.
Yeah.
I'd also take away the mercy rule. I do not like the mercy rule. I don't think that the mercy rule is good for the game. Um, and that's just my opinion.
Okay, I disagree on the mercy rule. I think if you want to keep people interested in the sport, if a game can finish 54-0 rather than 104-0, the 54-0 yeah, that's for me. Um, so I have there's a lot of traveling in the Gulf between some teams was immense. Yeah, right, Gary. I agree with you. So I actually was speaking to some referees about this,
Yeah,
and I agree. Div one and Prem, exactly how you said. I would all right. So for me, if money wasn't an issue, I would be paying someone to stream as many games as possible. So whether it's streamed through Buffer, through wherever, the more this game is streamed, the better. That's why I'm kind of trying to make it a mission. So people who follow American football, come across the stream. Oh my God, there's a team. I can maybe go down and watch someone. Anyway, so I would put a big chunk of money in bringing coaches over to North, South, and Scotland. Let's not forget about Scotland here. Um, with the Prem, I'd have the Prem as one league. That's that. With Div One, I agree. Southeast, Southwest, Northwest, Northeast. But I would also have a Scottish Prem. Sorry, Scottish Div One. No Scot because you look how many teams are in
yeah.
Scotland. It's hard enough as it is. Um, if I had a limited amount of money, what what would it take for the Prem to be semi-pro? Players getting
Money,
paid. Well, let them
money.
do that.
It's
If a club's going to self-run itself good enough, why should it be hindered by other clubs that don't want to? So, like, if Manchester Titans can go out and get a bucket ton of money for sponsors, or the London Warriors can do that, if they want to, if again, it'd have to be something with a collective unit. And I'm sure there's players in the Premier who want it because they want Britball to climb up that level. Whether it's foreign imports coming in, and I'm not just talking about America. The standard in Europe is so much better than
yeah,
ours. We see that
it is.
on the international level, and I don't want it to be. I want Britball to be, excuse language, again, fucking awesome. So I'd allow it. For it to go semi-pro. I think BAFA as a whole, they need to engage with the not us. But by us, I mean like I'm part of the Britball community. I've played, and you should
Yeah,
engage with us more. In fact, I'd love someone on BAFA to come on this and let us ask questions. Let your Gary Hoes, your Lucifers, and all that. Ask. ask them questions. They want, I'm sure there's things we want to know. There's things that, no one's exempt from criticism. We were criticised a few months ago, and there was boycotts, and again, we're not exempt from criticism. It's up to us to take that on board, do something about it. They've got to do that. Honestly, mate, I think we could talk about this for hours, but I would definitely make the Prem players be paid. If a club
Yeah,
wants to, like, it's all good. People going, but East Kilbride have to travel to London Warriors. Great, you're playing semi-pro ball. Get yourself sponsors.
the
Get engaging. Get your home games to be ticket sales, stuff like that. I think it's something Titans do really well. I've not been to Warriors. I'm sure they do a fantastic setup. I've not been to Blitz. I'm sure they do a fantastic setup. But you know, we definitely need more streaming. We
yeah,
absolutely need. And I'm not just talking. I mean, look, as it stands, we've got Div 2, Div 1, and Prem. I think it'd be great if, when Holton Spartans did it, when I was at Holton Spartans, I thought that was great. It was in a stadium. There was, 200 to 500 players, fans there, which for Div 2 football, that's phenomenal. What Ian Derbyshire and the team accomplished was nothing short of fantastic. If we had so many clubs run like that, working their asses off to get sponsorships, keeping the sponsorships happy, yeah.
the the only I'll get to your comment in a second, Lucifer. But the only issue that I would have is that unfortunately the product in the country isn't great. So sponsorships will be very, very difficult to come by. Um,
Why
it's
do you
not
think? Right. So
because people's not all right. So the easiest way for me to put it is a lot of people's knowledge. Like you can play the sport,
mhm,
but not a lot of people have the knowledge of the game itself.
okay,
Not a
but
lot, not a lot of, and also not everyone is. Again, if we go semi-pro, then I guess the people they will have contracts in a
okay.
sense that they have to go gym session. They will do classrooms. There'll be all these little things. Obviously, this is theoretical, where it's just throw it off. But looking at how it is at the moment,
Mhm.
going semi-pro at the moment with the teams that we have, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be so great. So again, like if we're looking at the Prem wise, you've really got two teams, three teams that actually give you a really good game when they play each other. Four teams when they play each other.
Mhm.
Like in the north, you've got Manchester and Coventry, and the south, you've got Aztecs, Splits, Warriors, and Warriors normally run away with both of those
I,
games
I-
against the
and
Aztecs and Warriors.
you've obviously got another team coming up as well. I think they'll be good next year. It'll be interesting to
Wembley
see.
Stallions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they'll be good next year. It'll be interesting to see who they recruit and if they can recruit players from the
Yeah,
teams that we've just been talking about. In terms of sponsorships, it's my bread and butter because I've done pretty well with it with two teams. So like the businesses, so I'm kind of putting the olive branch out for some businesses and some business people I know to in regards to sponsoring the team that I'm with at the moment.
yeah.
Um, they don't know about the sport, but the one thing that they want is the advertising, the promotion of the business, which is it's very basic, obviously, in terms of telling them what you can offer. I think when it comes to not all clubs, because we've been talking about some great clubs, but I think some clubs can be very sloppy and very lazy in terms of they just want to play football. The business, the subs will look after everything. Well, it doesn't look after not everything. So does every club try and fundraise? Not
No,
no. Do the ones that do it properly? Maybe. Um, could that be something that BAFA could help out with clubs? In terms of marketing, in terms of social media marketing, in terms of how they can use that to football can be much realised the sport in the UK, especially local sport. It's about priority of what we want for the sport and the country as a whole. Um, I agree, it's smaller, but it's getting bigger and bigger. I know so many people who've not played for years who still tune in and find out the results, like the posts,
yeah,
stuff like that. But going back to my thing, I think that's something that BAFA could do really good, or someone else, or us, if we'd be up for it, I'm sure we would. Is helping teams how to market the product, how to advertise. not putting stuff like, some of the artwork I've seen has been fantastic. Lee Miners, they've got really good artwork. So it'll be interesting to see how they do next season, because obviously there's been a few background issues. Titans, they have great artwork. Nighthawks, Mistside Nighthawks have brilliant artwork. Chester Romans do as well, but for me, they don't post enough. So it'll be great if someone could help them do that, because it's a business. I know it's a non-for-profit, it's a charity, however you want to put it, as it stands. But if you're not treating that like a business, you're not marketing it properly,
Yeah.
players are going to go elsewhere. Like, if you go join Merseyside Nighthawks, they put you in like a little graphic and makes it look boss. I'd be well up for that. Be well up for that.
Yeah, it's true.
We have to look at the GFL lovers in Europe and see how they've made it a success. Mark sponsorship. Yeah, definitely agree.
So it also helps that I believe in Germany, this was a couple of years ago. I don't think they really play rugby. So again, American football is their main contact sport.
Do you know? Do you know how many? Right,
So
I live in a rugby town. Okay,
yeah,
and there's so many rugby clubs that have shut. So on that part, I understand that part where you're coming from in terms of there's not another sport to take that crop of talent to another sport, but there's less people playing rugby. So I agree and disagree, but in terms of the marketing sponsorship, how they've made it a success, that's something that the league should be helping the teams do. It has to be something.
agree. That is agreed. And also there needs to be what's the word I'm looking for? There needs to be a way of I get you can't limit players from playing, but you need to have a standard of fairness. A
What do you mean
standard
by
of
that?
so
Be
I don't
honest.
even know how to
Be
explain it.
blunt.
Not all right, cool, fine, it's great. Not transfer. You can't because from what I was told that you have to you just having certain players on the team. Where so looking at how Cambridge Cats didn't have enough players this year, but then you look at teams where they're able to get in. Yes, they're getting Americans to their team, and it's worked out very well for Bristol. But there's a lot of things that have happened that you can just potentially make it a bit fair. You can't register people. People have to register. They have to play at least 1 or 2 games. So they can't just return if they're playing in Europe. They
Yeah.
can't, players can't just instantly return and play in the playoffs. So there's different things that can be done. The rules, I think that we need to see more of the BAFA board as well at games to
Yeah. No,
help promote games. Um,
I agree. I
there
agree.
needs to be promotion for games. Social media, I know every team does it on social media, but you would need BAFA you'll need the organization to be out there promoting it as well. Promote the big games. You don't need to promote every game, or you can promote the big game and then also just promote the other games that are around. We got a fantastic radio station called Talksport. I believe that they do sponsorships, they do advertising as well for different sports. I guess, if you get in contact. But there's a lot of things that can help with the league. But again, it comes down to the point of the product isn't that great. The product, when you go to a game, you don't want to see one team absolutely dominate another team and the other team never scores a point.
Yeah.
Like, I
Eh,
went to a playoff game. I went to Warriors versus Coventry, and the game ended 50 something 0.
Yeah. That's been
You
mad. That.
shouldn't be in the playoffs. You shouldn't be in the playoffs and not score at all. Maybe a joint registration. If the player is in Bucks, they pay a combined registration fee for Bucks and BAFTA team. There, yeah, there's a lot of things that I guess are going to come next year. We'll see how it goes. But there's things that need to be fixed. BAFTA at games was brought up in the questionnaire last year. We're told it was not possible due to the lack of staff and the amount of games. They don't need to be at every game. They just need to go to some. It needs to be the fact that you at least show up to the championship games.
Yeah.
Show up to
I I I
you
I, I
put
said
on
about.
a
Well,
relegation. Sorry, you put on a relegation and promotion match, and I saw one BAFA official at that game. One.
I've said this about the Gulag games. About there's nothing there if you win in terms of like, um, you know. there was no medals, or imagine getting promoted and that's it. You know, whereas like
But
when I played the Div 2 final for Holton Spartans and we got beat, we got a runners up medal, but it's something. Do you get what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's like I just feel like the representation from look. I know it's repetitive of criticising Baffa, but we're doing it because we want more for Britball. You know, I bet most towns and cities don't even know, American football's played locally. He's right.
nope,
You know, the amount
yeah,
of people who I see go, oh, do you play? You know, and they're wearing like an Eagles jersey or whatever, and they go, what do you mean play? I went, do you not play? I went, it's not over here. I went, bloody is. You know,
yeah.
it's like we were at Hickory's yesterday, and there was loads of lads wearing rep and gear. And I'm like, did they play? I don't even know they are. Well,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
It's they've literally got such a good potential gold diamond, not gold diamond, like that diamond, and they don't do enough of it. It's poor, and to say, due to staff levels, representation, and that's poor. I'm sure they can make an effort to visit not every team, like yeah.
So yeah, the one thing. So what I will say about the Gulag games is that one second, I'll read that. The one thing I will say about the relegation. So what happened between in the South relegation at no, the South semi-finals finals between East Kent Mavericks and Wembley Stallions is that Coach Warren Smart actually went out, bought a trophy, and bought two MVP awards, basically each team announced. So what Wembley Stallions gave East Kent Mavericks an MVP award, and East Kent Mavericks and that gave the Stallions an MVP award. So they did that on their own backs. There was no trophies for the winners of that game. So it's one of those ones where you sit there and it's just like, wow, you actually have to do everything yourself, otherwise it's never gonna happen. Um, right. Won't
There's
find me.
loads of comments that came in here,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah, I just saw. I just saw. So we're gonna go off with Jimmy. Won't find me sticking up for Baffa, but often. But Baffa CEO did attend Giants Buccaneers game. Admittedly, he was up north for the under-16s finals the day before, but a step in the right direction. Yeah, that's good. That's good. At least he's showing up 2 games as well. Noble, I live near Botts Park and had no idea Brit Ball was played here until this year. No promotions whatsoever. Imagine being undefeated in every game you played and not get a trophy for it. It's yes, it is. It is shocking that you can't actually get celebrated by the league to do it for that. Imagine losing all your games and getting to play one more game than teams who actually won games. Yeah.
I
I know a lot of people, and the last one by Lucifer. I know a lot of people do not like this relegation promotion match. I know a lot of people probably want the Div 1 and the Div 2 bowls back. It is massive for the teams and the players and the refs too. It is very true. But I personally, I do understand why they've done it. I guess probably explaining it would have been a lot better for them. It is down to the fact that I guess if you can't beat the team that's meant to come down, how are you going to survive next year with your current team?
I
Yes, you'll bring in no. Yes, you'll bring in new players, but if your current squad can't beat the worst team in the division, should you really be able to go up? But then again, it is a catch-22 because then that team that was meant to get relegated, they're just going to be in the same division, getting beaten up all over again for another year.
Oh, mate, I prefer. Look, I mean, I prefer the bowls. I just think there's something much more better about it, much more exciting. Um, but there's so many good points. To be fair, I was at the Bucks game. I didn't know he was there. Like, I might have said something. But you know, there's so many great points. Like, imagine being undefeated in every game you played, not get a trophy for it. Disgraceful. You know, the Nighthawks overcome the odds of beating Rams, beating Alphas, getting to playoffs. They didn't even know they were playoffs till like the week before. Like, brilliant. They didn't get a trophy for it, or a medal, and they should. And
Yeah,
I would imagine the club have sorted them something out for their end of season awards, but it's just not good enough. The amount of fees that we pay to this organisation, it's shocking. Someone made the point before. I'm going to scroll down and find it. COVID hit the sport so hard. General cost of living has affected numbers. I agree. I've paid other players subs because they've come to me and be like, I've got no money, I can't play, I'm gonna have to pack it. I'm like, look, don't, I'll help you out. Don't worry about it. No one needs to, I don't need to name them players, but
Yeah,
it's just it, it, it's a sport that we want everyone to play, and we know it's expensive, but and we pay fees to run to do it, but we also pay fees to buffer, and what we get from them, it's not consistent or good enough. And someone mentioned before about refs as well. The shite they've had to deal with the last season or two. A lot needs to change for it to get better, and it needs to change quickly.
yeah. And the issue is, quick change isn't going to happen
No.
anytime soon. It's going to take time. The issue is it going to take more time of it before it dies that it's going to be fixed? Because a lot of the youth, a lot of the young ones, a lot of those that played in under 19 games aren't going to be wanting to play in the UK. A lot of
Yeah.
them want to go to Europe. A lot of them want to try and go to the States and play Division 2 or Division 3 or even JUCO. Try to go the JUCO route. So there's a lot of things that we're losing a lot of talent in the UK. So it is going to be insane for most teams getting to a bowl game. I like then teams are so rare, 30 years of playing, and I got only to two. It is true. There is a lot of things that is an achievement. So I feel like maybe there needs to be some sort of compromise for it. I don't know how it will go, but I do know that the retention for some teams has been a lot better this year when teams that already know that they're going to go down, now that there's that extra bit of fight potentially that you can still stay up in the division because you have that one extra game to play
Yeah.
to keep your spot. So I understand the reasoning behind it, but I don't think it's going to be probably another 4 or 5 years that it actually starts to work out where teams in the higher division are holding on to their players, are able to fight for that position and stay in the division instead of this year. Every team apart from Sheffield Giants got relegated.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know one thing I'd love to introduce? Squad caps. Um,
See, that that is only possible if you're paying.
well,
You can't. I
I
don't.
don't. I don't need to name the club. I think you bloody guess who it was. But their number of players they have to the actual number of players who don't even play is concerning. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure the coaching that they have is fantastic, and eventually the players might play. But when you look that there's teams of like 22, 23 players, um, you're like, well, if them players who aren't even playing, they're not even on the bench.
Yeah,
Where did you get what I mean? So I agree. I agree with your response, but I'd love it to happen. I'd just love it to be like, right, you've got to, I don't know, random number of say
yeah.
65. That's your limit. Then
It,
you find them teams that are more desirable. Go right, that's our 65. If you want to transfer, there's no penalty, there's no this, there's no that. Go transfer. Then you'd see other clubs around reap and benefit
yeah.
from that. That's
The Yeah. No, it's a fair point. The only thing I would say is that the same statement will come up. I am paying. I want to be here. This is where the coaches are, and this is where I want to learn. The coach. Not every team has enough good coaches for players to be okay. I want to transfer away from here and
yeah,
go learn from someone else. It's going to be difficult. And as Coach Russ says, Elite Fives on the 20th of September is bringing all the top, basically a lot of the top players in Europe, in England together, and it's a full day event. It's going to be probably something that we've never seen before in this country, and it's
you going?
definitely going to be something exciting. Yep, I am
Nice,
a photog shooting that day, so I'll be there from morning till evening till night,
nice.
just absolutely killing it, taking shots. But again, it's one of those ones where something like Elite Five is bringing so much traction that it's possible to have these things happen,
Mm.
but it takes time and it takes work and it's a lot of effort. And I've always said it. I feel like teams in the league they do need to merge. Elite Five, it won't be streamed this year.
That's a
It's not
shame.
being streamed, but there, I believe there are things they'll get pitched. There'll be pictures and everything. So if you can make it down, obviously make it down. If you can't, then you will have to just obviously try and find information somewhere about what's happening on the day. But
I have a question for you now. I want to move on to a bit more of a cheery thing.
okay,
But
God,
hang on, wait there. Play can't be a big issue for more isolated players. You don't make the team and you only come with an hour, then you don't need to get to that play that year.
yeah,
That's a good point. Okay, I want to
okay.
know your shock of the season. I want to know what things shocked you. It could be a result, it could be an incident, it can be a team getting promoted, a team getting ready. What was the one thing that shocked you this season?
London Blitz beating Bristol Athletes.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I drove down to that game. Um, I drove down to that game because I knew that game was going to be very interesting. It depend. Blitz needed to beat Aztecs by a certain amount to make playoffs.
Yeah.
Because Aztecs beat them at Finsbury Park, I believe, by 7 points, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Um, and when that game started, I think a lot of the Blitz players had told me prior the weeks before, "Don't worry, come to the game. We got this. We're gonna win this." I was like skeptical. I'm skeptical because I'm like, well, you know. Haven't done it for very long. Haven't done it for a long time. Don't know how that's gonna work, but sure, I will show up. And they did not disappoint. I still haven't finished them pictures yet, editing them pictures yet. So I still,
On
but
the many of to-do lists, yeah.
my to-do list is big. But I think that was probably the shock of the season. I think a lot of people sort of open it, I realized that maybe Blitz are a very young team, but
Yeah,
they are growing very, very fast. Especially this season with London Hornets folding. A lot of the players from London Hornets went out to Wembley Stallions. They went out to I think they went to Hertfordshire Cheetahs. They went to London Warriors, and they went to the Blitz.
yeah,
So when that I feel is great. And also another shock that probably won't be a shock to everybody. I think the teams that have that merged a year before, prior or within this year, they've done really well.
yeah,
There's a standard that you can see that you probably two teams have like five coaches, and then the moment they merge, that one team has 10.
yeah. That that
The
that
merge,
that's that's happened with us. Yeah, no,
yeah.
defo.
So that's what I would be going about with it. Ben, is there not a limited amount in the league? No, there is a minimum amount, I believe, for players to be registered on teams. It has to be
35?
35 before a
Something like
certain
that.
period. Before a certain period, otherwise you have to obviously drop out of the league. That includes coaches. I think that is probably coaches should not be counted
I
towards the
I
league
agree.
minimum or
I agree.
registered. It should just be players. Which league is better? Adult Prem versus Bucks National Prem. Adult Prem will always be better than kids playing. Although UE probably would be able to give a couple of senior teams a run for their money,
Hmm.
just because of standard that they are playing at. Obviously, they are a team that will have a number of Americans on their squad because they're students. So it will be interesting to see how that will go. But again, they'll be very, very young. Yeah, there we go. 35 and
Yeah.
22 on match day, which I think is a um, shocking amount. Coach Russ's shock is Newcastle forfeiting again to Manchester. Yeah, that's probably true. But Mateo, what's your shock of the season?
Scamming the Prem, mid-side night talks. Did not think that would happen. I really didn't think that would happen. Yeah, I think to get relegated because they lost some good players who retired, um, which everyone's entitled to do. That was one of my shocks. They recruited really well, and look, they won. They deserved it. Well done to them. My other one was most probably Leicester Panthers. How good they actually are. They were better than any team I played for last season when I was at Chester Romans. My odds on early prediction is that they do two promotions in a row. They've got a really good setup there. Again, another team, great social media marketing. They've got sponsors and stuff like that. Yeah, that. And how much I've enjoyed this. This has been a right laugh this season. I'm gutted we finished this show. There's another show.
Yeah,
It's been great. It's been interesting because I'll be honest with you, my South football knowledge was shite. It was awful. So I'm looking forward to next season. I'll do a bit of research. I am. It's been absolutely brilliant. We've got the people who come and commentate regularly. Your coach Russes, your Garys, everyone else. It's been great. It's been great. Yeah.
good. Um, what I would ask as well,
Go on.
what is your preseason prediction of what will happen next year?
In which division?
Pre overall.
Okay, I think Lancashire Buccaneers will do it next year. They'll get promoted. They're a brilliant club. I have a lot of loving for them. I think Lee Miners will do a lot better. They've got a really good coach in there. I'm literally going to spill this out quickly. I worry for my previous club, Chester Romans. I hope they turn it around. There is a cracking bunch of people at that club. Get rid of the idiots. We don't need to give them any airtime. I think Merseyside Nighthawks are going to hold their own very well as Scunthorpe Alphas.
Hmm,
I see Caesars dropping next season. Someone who doesn't need to be named has told me he's not, there's not happy. If there's one person not happy, there'll be a few people not happy. I still think Titans will do it next year. I think they'll have a few departures. People want to try it at Nighthawks, maybe more game time, but I still think they'll do it. I've said Leicester Panthers. I think they'll get promoted. I think Brit Ball's gonna be awesome next season. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's fair. That is
a
very,
lot of
very fair.
predictions that you asked for a few.
Yeah, that is a lot. That was more than I expected.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously we will be back in March, February, well, March more likely.
I think we should do a pre-show. Obviously,
We
so I think
do.
the first season do
We Yeah,
pre-show.
we
Yeah,
do. We
yeah,
do a pre-show. We do a pre-show a week
yeah.
before the season starts. Because obviously Uniball will still be going on, and Uniball actually finishes this year in April.
I tell you,
Um,
I tell you what. There's a comment there. Come with your kit to Cambridge. You'll be welcome with open arms. I tell you what. I will come down to Cambridge for one session, but I won't play. I'll just come in the front.
um, Lucifer's shock of the season was Cornwall making the playoffs. Yes, that was probably a very big shock. No one expected that to happen.
Yeah.
They did very, very well to make it into the playoffs. There was a comment that Lucifer you made recently that if Div two, so when I say cut Div two, it's not cutting it all as a whole, but instead of having Div two,
Merge
the
it.
Div two players go up to Division one.
They'll
So
get better as
then
well. They'll get better from
yeah.
it.
So
Yeah.
it's better than having the players in Division Two and spreading the refereeing, the coaching thing, everything is under one banner. And again, there won't be any relegations from Division One. You'll
Yeah.
just obviously be the worst. You'll just stay there and be the worst, potentially be the worst team within the years. But it's just one of those ones where instead of having that lower division where teams will drop down to and then obviously potentially get promoted up again, this will sort of cancel it out and it will sort of make it a bit fairer on the referees to make it to different games for people to actually go out to watch different games. So instead of having Division One and having the Prem on the same week, you split it out throughout the season. Everyone plays each other once, and then that will be that can technically be the whole entire season instead of playing. And then some teams will potentially play each other twice. So there's a lot of different aspects of it which will be beneficial, and it will also be aspects where you'll have Division One teams. They could go watch a Prem team on a Sunday, and then maybe the Prem team could go watch a Division One team, and then scouting in that sense, understanding how different things work. There's a lot of things that you can learn from different teams, and obviously you want to learn from the prem teams who have been able to do it year on year in at the top division with the players that they have. So there's many things that could be worked out, but it does come down to obviously having that organization push it through. Mateo, tryouts for Cambridge are on the 19th and 26th of October.
Oh
And
mate,
anyone else that wants to them go down, obviously that's where they will be doing it. I'm sure that you'll be able to find more information on their Instagram page and Facebook page as well. Um, it has been crazy. 30 seasons on the trot. um, but this season has been one of highs and lows. I started out with Oz. I finished the season off with Mateo. I have
yes.
been up and down the country. Obviously, I haven't gone anywhere past Manchester. No, Nottingham. I haven't gone anywhere past Nottingham, but I've been everywhere down south. It has been a definitely pleasure watching everybody ball out and play and talking to a lot of coaches, referees, players. I feel like my season this year has been very fulfilled. Um, I would love for us to be able to do a lot more, but obviously time is not with our friend, and trying to get things done in certain ways, you have to prioritize certain things going forward as well.
Agreed.
Um, and I am thankful for Mateo for jumping in halfway through the season,
Yeah.
understanding that might happen, Lucifer. Don't hold it. That actually might happen next year. Um, but I do enjoy that Mateo did join me during halfway through the season. I do enjoy that Mateo now understands that Southern football is better than the Northern. Um,
Never saying it, mate. Never saying it.
you don't need to say it. You don't need to say the two teams in the finals were.
Listen, well done to them two teams. I'm just gonna add my bit onto what you said. I'm very thankful for everyone for joining in. I obviously I've that's my invite to Fortnite. So after this, I'm jumping on Fortnite, like the grown ass adult I am. I'm very thankful for the Buccaneers inviting me with open arms. Everyone for welcoming me on the Sports Tank team. There's a great bunch of people who are very passionate about Britball. Obviously, you'll see me on a Thursday with the NFL show on Coach Russ, Gary Howes. I'd love to get you on at one point. Obviously, I'm retired. I hate saying that, but I'm thoroughly going to enjoy my other little projects, and I can't wait to get back on next year. Whether it's with me, you, and Oz, me and you, whatever. I'm looking forward to it, and thank you very much for having me, mate.
No worries, man. Also, the question about covering Uniball, I believe there is a team setting up for Uniball. I don't know who it will be, so I guess watch the space because Uniball starts in
September,
8 weeks.
boom.
It starts, so the first game in the Premiership will be Brunel versus I think Portsmouth, and it's like the ending of October. That game will be going on. So there's a lot of more sports coming out. You're going to see a lot more young talented, and you can see a lot more shows coming out from every single platform that does American football. And everyone is wanting to improve the game and make the game better. That is all we want. That is all we how we want things to go, and we're going to be intrigued to see how everything goes. 26th of October. Fair enough. What I will say is congratulations to every team that completed the season. Congrats to every player that played out this year. Those that got injured, hopefully you'll be able to come back with a full recovery. Those that weren't able to get to the success that they wanted, that they'll be able to do it next year, and they worked hard in the off season to get that going. Um, and again, congratulations to Bristol Aztecs on being the national Premiership champions. Congratulations to Solent Thrashers women on becoming the women's nines champions. Congratulations to London Blitz Youth under 19s for winning ooh, their 10th championship, I believe. Something
Crazy,
crazy like that.
crazy.
Um, again, congratulations to Wembley Standings on being promoted to the. Oh, there's too many. Congratulations to
Congrats to
Wembley.
everyone.
Yeah,
Just
congratulations
congrats.
to everybody. Next year will be fun. There's going to be a lot more different things going forward, and hopefully there'll be a lot more of sightseeing by myself and Mateo for next
Yes,
season.
that's the plan.
Um, Now, will Oz be back next year? We don't know. We will find out as things go on. But everybody, hope you all stay safe. Hope you have a great winter. Hope you have a great off season as well and recruitment period. NFL is back, and stay tuned for a new show that's coming. Well,
It's already started.
The show has
Off
already
every
started.
Thursday,
There
7:30
we go.
p.m. The Audible. We might have a guest host, which I'm going to try and figure out this Thursday as I'm away in London. But every Thursday, 7:30, come and discuss why the Denver Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl. Of course they are. We'll see you every Thursday.
All right, everybody. Delusional on that is below me. Um, but hope everyone stays safe. Hope you all be great, and you may be seeing us soon. Follow us on Instagrams if you don't have us already. Hope you all be blessed, and